The dawn of the age of colonial empires, Spain, Portugal, and the New World, 16th century. The dawn light spilled across the Atlantic, glimmering over sails that stretched toward an unseen horizon. It was the early 16th century, and two small kingdoms at the edge of Europe, Spain and Portugal, were preparing to divide the world. Just decades earlier, maps had ended in mystery and fear. Beyond the western sea lay only myths, sea monsters, endless storms, and the edge of the world itself. But by 1500, the age of myth had ended. With Columbus's voyage, the oceans had opened, and the age of empire had begun. From Lisbon's bustling docks, Portuguese ships laden with spices, gold, and silks returned from India, Africa, and the East Indies. Men like Vasco da Gama and Afonso de Albuquerque had carved a network of fortified ports stretching from the Cape of Good Hope to Malacca and beyond. Portugal's flag now flew across the Indian Ocean, its caravels patrolling trade routes that once belonged to Arabs and Persians. Meanwhile, across the Iberian Peninsula, Spain looked west. The dreams of empire burned in the hearts of its explorers, men driven by greed, faith, and destiny. The gold of the New World shimmered in their imagination like a promise from heaven. In 1519, Hernán Cortés landed on the coast of Mexico. With only a few hundred men, he marched into the heart of the Aztec Empire, where he would bring both glory and destruction. Not long after, Francisco Pizarro conquered the Inca Empire in the Andes, toppling kings and seizing mountains of silver. The riches of the Americas flowed into Spain. Ships laden with gold, silver, sugar, and slaves crossed the Atlantic in endless waves. Seville became the beating heart of a global empire. Cathedrals rose on the prophets of conquest, and Spanish galleons gleamed like floating palaces. Yet this new world was built on blood. Indigenous civilizations crumbled under the weight of disease, warfare, and enslavement. Millions died, their temples looted, their gods silenced. What began as exploration became domination. In 1494, even before the full scale of discovery was known, Spain and Portugal had signed the Treaty of Tordesillas, dividing the world between them by an invisible line drawn across the Atlantic. Lands to the west would belong to Spain, lands to the east to Portugal. The Pope himself had blessed the arrangement. Two nations, by faith and ambition, had claimed the earth as their inheritance. But the seas did not stay silent for long. England, France, and the Netherlands watched with envy. In time, they too would build empires, send explorers, and fight for control of the same waters. Still, it was Spain and Portugal that first reshaped the map. By the mid-16th century, Spanish colonies stretched from Mexico to Peru, and Portuguese traders ruled from Goa to Macau. The silver from the New World funded wars, churches, and a golden age of art, but it also sowed the seeds of inflation and empire's decay. For the first time in history, the entire planet was connected, through trade, conquest, and faith. The oceans had become highways of ambition. And so, as the sun rose over Seville and set over Goa, the world was no longer divided by mystery. It was bound together by empire. The age of discovery had become the age of colonization, and the destiny of nations would now be written upon the waves.